Today we are breaking down the blind fire mechanic as well as the strafing while mounted mechanic that was added to Vanguard. We saw a little bit of it showed off in the campaign, which we have behind me right here, and that'll kind of show off whether or not these things will translate over to multiplayer and then eventually to Warzone at some point, since the engine is potentially going to get upgraded when this integration happens. If you enjoy the video, learn something new, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new and want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. So pretty much what we had here is the typical campaign, right? We go through and you walk through very slowly and you're doing the campaign. You know, it's kind of one of those things where they're guiding you through, here's how to crouch and all that type of stuff. But I've specifically chosen a few different things so we could see how these individual mechanics work and discuss and break them down. So right here, we're getting this gun here, which is going to be cool. We're going to get the access to see the standard mount. And right here, you can mount on the edge of the doorway, which we've already seen within Modern Warfare and Warzone this entire time. So that's pretty standard. And they have it set to L2 instead of potentially R3 or whatever bind you have to it. It's defaulted to L2. Also, when he comes around over here, you can see that there is another potential to mount, just like those little lines that we see right here. Are the ones that normally happen. That's kind of what's going on, where it's giving you that clear mounting aspect. And then once you do mount, it goes into an aim down sight mechanic, which is pretty standard. And then you go ahead and shoot. Easy little kill there. The next part we'll take a look at here is on the right. You can see this boarded area with little, 2x4s all the way across it. This is a destructible environment element that we'll see right here. So we'll go ahead and see them destroy it. So they broke part of it, broke more of it, and then you can actually run through it. And then obviously once it's broken through, that's it. It's done for. There's no reason to go back through it. You can see it kind of like shot the chair. Not much going on there. And then we'll go ahead and go to the more controversial one, which is the blind fire mechanic. I also point out here is when this person aims down sight. I'm not sure why it doesn't show it, but in this particular clip, when they are aiming down sight, they aren't getting to something to hold their breath. So I don't know if, it sounds like that'll be a mechanic that's always been there, but maybe with this particular optic, you're not getting it because it looks a lot more like a 3X than an actual sniper scope once they are aimed down sight. But you can see there's no prompt to aim down sight. On top of that, we can get the hit marker indicators that we're accustomed to seeing. It gives you directional indication of where you're being shot from. So that's all pretty standard. And these look fairly clear. Aren't hardcore sharp like we've seen in other Call of Duty titles, but overall pretty solid. So you have potential to mount there. And here's where the blind fire mechanic comes in. So what we're going to see is on screen, we're going to get the alternate choice here. We can press L2 and that will mount up. Or we could potentially blind fire. And this looks like it's bound to whatever you fire with. So if you're just behind cover, there will be an instance where it will show it. So my thinking is that the cover has to be a certain height. So there would be clear map designs for you to actually use the mechanic, because when they were behind the desk, they didn't get the option or the prompt to blind fire. You can also see they're very close to it based off the height of the wall, and the gun stays vertical. So maybe when it's staying vertical, it's giving you the option to blind fire. And then here's the part with the broken part that I do not like about blind firing. So let's go ahead and rewatch that. So let's go ahead and rewatch that again, just so you can see it. I'm not going to pause it this time. So the thing that when you look at this really closely, most people thought, hey, you know what? It's just hip firing, which that would be cool if that was the case. But look at how tight this spread is when you come up for the hip fire. Look at how it tightens as you blind fire. And this looks more like a blind fire because your guy's more like this instead of like this, where it would be in the lower part of the camera. Like the gun would be on the bottom side. It would go through like much lower. You can see it's intentional, and they're probably showing off the game mechanics here, but you see how tight that spread was. So it feels like you would hip fire just the same way that mounting helps your aim down sight. Like in terms of recoil, you'd have significantly less recoil. This appears to be reducing your hip fire but you're still in the hip fire. So it's not going to be as accurate as aiming down sight, but we'll see it from the other side eventually, because obviously once the game drops, and this is a mechanic in multiplayer, maybe going to Warzone, we'll be able to see how much of their body's showing. Because if we actually go right here, and when they come up, it looks like they're pretty high up. It doesn't look like this. It looks like they're standing a little bit with it, but it could just be the way the FOV is and the POV. But we'll see how that part works out. There's also more standard mounting as he comes around the wall here. It'll say mounting. See right here, we get the mounting animation with this thing right here. So maybe if they were further to the side, we could have seen a mounting aspect. Maybe only certain weapons will be able to blind fire. Because obviously with the sniper, you probably wouldn't do that with the Kar 98. I mean, you could if you're, trying out for phase or something. But you can see he does a regular mounting. Maybe the hip fire mounting wouldn't make as much sense. We're also going to have more standard mounting here, and then we'll go ahead and review it back through. So standard mounting, and you can see there's a little bit of movement to it. There's a strafe element to that, and that's where they've changed it. They go into the strafe again, you'll see the lines disappear, and they're strafing across the rail, maintaining that accuracy. So if we go back through that again, what you're going to see here is the mounting. So they're going to mount, and see how the white dots disappeared, or those white lines. So they are fully mounted, and then when they go into this, they're actually strafing. And this one's a very niche scenario too, because it's like, well, you have to have a specifically flat wall that works, and I'm sure there's going to be map designs like that, but those creatable covers, like where maybe you blow off part of the wall and then you're mounting on the side of the wall, you're not going to be able to go like this. I mean, so this is a very specific scenario, and that means that there's certain design elements. So I'd love to see if they were here with the shotgun, where they could have said, okay, maybe you could blind fire, because now the railing's at this certain height or whatever, but we didn't get much of that. So I guess we'll have to see once more gameplay comes out. I'm sure we'll get an opportunity this weekend, because this weekend is the Vanguard beta. I'm going to go ahead and leave that in the background so we can kind of just talk, because for the rest of this, it's just kind of regular, organic, no nonsense, like just regular campaign gameplay. Nothing special, very catered thing where you kind of go through one route, and that's pretty much it. What are you guys' thoughts about this blind fire mechanic? Do you think it's game breaking? Do you think it's going to be for specific weapons, or maybe it's going to be only for specific types of cover? Do you think there's going to be camo challenges related to that? Let me know. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, learned something new, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.